Hi, my name is Lauren Edmunds, and I run an intervention center in Johannesburg in South Africa called OMATIS. And OMATIS is, yes, it's a made up word. It's an acronym actually for the sentence opportunities multiply as they are seized. So I love doing these talks because they are opportunities that get thrown out into the social media universe, in fact, into beyond that, and people who need it find it, and it becomes your opportunity. So I've been asked to chat about Lego. So on the wonderful Facebook page, Exceptional Living, they've been talking about Lego this week. And yeah, our live video last night didn't quite work, but here we are. I'm so pleased to be giving you this video and my take on how we can use Lego in learning. So for me, the magic of children is not in the worksheets and in the textbooks, it's in the upgrading of thinking, because everything is thinking. You're thinking right now, you're listening, you're understanding, you're processing information, you could be problem solving because someone's drawing your attention, you're deciding, you're choosing. All of these things are happening right now in your adult brain, and you didn't get there by accident. You got there through a developmental process. So yes, we can absolutely look at the 10 steps of developmental processes, and we can look at models, but models are just models. They're maps of the real world. So when you've got a kid in front of you and they're playing with something that looks as innocent and innocuous as Lego, you see problem solving. How am I going to get this apart? How do I leverage these pieces? I'm already thinking. I'm already upgrading my thinking. So the wonderful thing about Lego is it always works. The company has a phenomenal design. If you are pushing it in the wrong position, it's not going to work. You have to flip it, you have to get it correct, and problem solving once again. And not just mental problem solving, but getting your brain to get your hand to problem solve as well, like trying to separate these two pieces. What am I going to do about that? So we problem solve as kids and we pull apart, which is fantastic proprioceptive exercises. We get to push them back together. We get to be creative and see what comes out of our design. We sometimes make random designs. Sometimes our random designs turn into Minecraft style epic adventures of Lego. And that's where the upgrade of thinking is happening. So when your child is playing, what are you doing and what are you thinking? So we practice at our school, we practice something called mediated learning. And mediated learning is where the adult, whether it be the teacher or the parent or whoever in the room, the adult is asking questions in a way that gets the child to stay focused on what they're doing and upgrade their thinking. We don't want the kid moving from the Lego to the adult and getting input from the adult. We want the adult's words to float in so the child gets input from what they're doing. And that becomes self-learning and self-correcting, and we upgrade thinking. So what have we got going on here? Well, we've got different sizes, we've got different shapes. Well, not shapes, we've got different sizes, we've got different colors. It's all nice and firm, it doesn't break. If it's dirty, it doesn't matter, we can wash it. It's kind of like the ultimate toy, except when it's lying all over the carpet and you stand on one, sharp edges. But if we can get our kids to, while they're playing, if we can get them to be thinking slightly differently through questions like, tell me how you did that. So he's really trying and really struggling, and wow, tell me how you did that. How did you separate those? I saw you were struggling for so long. What happened? What is different? And what the kid's brain ends up doing is, how did I do that? And they could easily say, I don't know, and move on. But they could also go, I pulled harder, or I twisted a bit, or I needed to dry my hands, or I went and got a cloth to pull it apart. So what your kid's doing now is his brain is upgraded to, instead of just pulling Lego, his brain is upgraded to, let me think a bit more closely, because then when he has something else that he's trying to do, he's trying to put this in, how did you do that? Did I use the same skills? Were they different skills? You're awakening your child's attention and awareness to his impact on the world. How incredible is that? So tell me how you did that is one of the most powerful questions you can ask a kid. But there are more, and I have a list which I will share with you. The next question I want to say is, what do you need to do next? So now that I can't, how are you not getting that right? I don't know. Not how are you not getting that right, but, oh, that's interesting. What can you do next? Or, I see you got it apart. What is your plan? What is my plan? So Lego is like a microcosm of school and of life. So let's say your electricity gets cut off. It's the same as this. What is my plan? What options do I have? And when you get it put back on, well, what did I do to do that? Those skills are all transferable, which means you can use them when you're playing Lego as a 5-year-old, or when you're sorting out your electricity bill as a 45-year-old. All of these skills are exactly the same. It's just a question of honing them and getting better at using them. So this is where the question gets asked, what about helicopter parents or lawnmower parents? What is the real opportunity cost in those? And for me, it's thinking, because we end up taking the thinking opportunities away from our children, and we do it for them. That's a point to think about. But back to some questions. What do you think would happen if you could never get these apart? My game would be ruined. Really? Your entire game? All of it? Forever? Can you see how all we're doing is asking these prompting questions to get the kid's brain to go, hold on a moment, and to take its own path of thinking? And all of this with simple little Lego pieces. So let me translate it up to a higher level. Let me show you the difference between B and D. There are many tricks that teachers will tell you. Hold it up there. And the many tricks absolutely do work. But how do we do it in terms of Lego? Well, these two are very, very similar, aren't they? A tall piece and a short piece? Absolutely. What else is the same? Well, let me take my Prestig off. They're built in the same way. What's different is the colors are opposites. Oh, what a lovely word. But if I turn it like this, do they still look like they're built in the same way? Are you seeing how 3D, they say that dyslexia kids think in 3D. The B and the D are exactly the same. Now, what happens if you could draw your child's attention to what is the same and what is different when I do that? What if we could pull their attention to, now that aha moment must happen in their heads. It can happen in the first instance that you bring their attention to it. It might take 100 opportunities to bring their attention to it. But it is their brain that needs to get this attention or bring awareness to what is going on. Which then brings me to language in school. And if we're just playing, or our kid is playing with two pieces like this, and we are saying to them, wow, you built 2 walls. And they go, yes. And you go, are they the same? And they go, yes. And you go, oh, that's interesting. How are they the same? So you don't say, no, they're not the same, because then we shut down the brain. We shut down learning. So the question is, well, how are they the same? So you go with the kids' thinking. And then we can say, well, they're both 4 bricks high. You're quite right, they are. I can see that. What else is the same about them? Oh, the colors are in the same order. What if I did this? Oh, now the colors are in reverse. Wow, are we building language skills or what? And descriptive skills and problem-solving skills. What if I do this? Is this still a wall? Now, we don't want to be asking 1,000 questions, because we can really frustrate our children with that. But maybe 1 or 2 pointed questions to get them to rejudge what they're looking at. Because if we do this and we bring and we put our hand and go, is it the same? Or what am I feeling here? And they could feel, oh, hold on a second. So now we're using the tactile system to support a visual system that might be able to pick up the difference. But if all we do, and this is typically what education environments do, is they go, no, they're different, and the difference is the yellow is shorter. And the child goes, oh, okay, I got it wrong. And we move on. And all that opportunity for the child's brain to grow and connect and compare and contrast, it evaporates. It just disappears. It's gone. And the travesty of a lot of that stuff is, if we do it in a way that breaks down self-esteem, is sometimes those vital thinking connections can be lost forever. So we want to be really careful as teachers and as parents of how we talk to our children. But let me show you the upgrade of thinking from Lego when you're a 5-year-old where, oh, it's the same. You know that language? To perhaps same versus different, to a higher grade 4, grade 5 level where it's compare and contrast, perhaps to grade 6, 7 level where we're doing Venn diagrams, even into high school where we're comparing Hamlet and Macbeth. And we're using all of this language, and it started with Lego and how questions were asked of us and how that upgraded our thinking. Couple more questions you can use when your kids are playing are, what do you think the problem is? One of the things I want to advise parents all the time is play dumb. Not so dumb that they catch on to it, but please don't give them the answer. What do you think the problem is? Stop and look carefully at what you're doing. Can you think of another way we could do this? Sure, I'm really thinking of another way. Can you help me out? Why is this way better than that way? And if they go, oh, but just because, oh, that's interesting. So now you're noting that they are brushing off the thinking, the hard work of thinking, and we want to bring them back to that. Let's make a plan so we don't miss anything. How can you find out? Yes, that's right. But how did you know it was right? All of these questions, and they really shouldn't be asked in quick succession. You don't want to frustrate your kids. But all of these questions really build thinking skills. And it is absolutely phenomenal that we have something like Lego, which is accessible and durable and can be passed down from generation to generation, where our children are upgrading the quality of their thinking. So I just did this. I think this is important. I think the point of education is to upgrade quality of thinking. And perhaps what I've explained to you today, or at least my thinking around this, has helped you a little bit with the next time your child is playing. And if they're getting it wrong, what opportunity do you have there? And when they're getting it wrong, the opportunity is to say, that's interesting. And if you can get curious, curiosity is an interesting thing, it's contagious. If you can get curious about what they're doing, not judgmental, no opinions, if you can get curious about what, but genuinely curious about what is going on for them, then they take that on as well. And they might get genuinely curious about how or why these aren't fitting together. And perhaps they're doing it at an angle, or, oh, look, it fits anyway. So my brain just got, a big shot of dopamine, something that we use for concentration and a precursor to serotonin, I believe, which is a happiness hormone, because I was successful at something different. So I hope this has been helpful for you, understanding Lego in a different way, that it's a wonderful, wonderful babysitter. Don't get me wrong. I think that's a fabulous thing for children, but it's not just babysitting. It's not just keeping them busy and quiet and in the corner. It's actually upgrading their thinking. And when they get stuck, if you can do something like this mediated learning, asking questions that put the thinking back on them, you're upgrading their thinking even more. So don't rescue them, help them out. I hope this was helpful. Bye.